If you're moving to Seattle, you've moved to Seattle, or you've just lived in Seattle, I'm sure you've heard the term the Seattle freeze. And if you haven't heard it, then you're about to find out. So when we first moved here about 2 years ago, can't believe I'm even saying that, this is something that we experienced but couldn't quite put our finger on it. That feeling where people were courteous, they're kind, they're generous, but you couldn't quite get to that second layer. And after a couple months in, we figured out that no, there was a term for it, but GPT can do a way better job of explaining what the Seattle freeze is, so let's pull her. The Seattle freeze refers to the perception that people in Seattle are generally distant, reserved, or unwelcoming, especially to newcomers. It's often described as a social phenomenon where residents are polite but not necessarily friendly, making it challenging for newcomers to form close relationships or integrate into social circles. Is exactly what the Seattle freeze is. But I think it's a bit deeper, and in this video I'm going to get into some of my thoughts about what the Seattle freeze actually is, and then some tips on how you can actually break through that barrier and make some friends while you're out here in Seattle. At the core of this problem, this Seattle freeze phenomenon, is the fact that we want friendships. We want deep, we want strong relationships and community. That's what we long for. And when we move out here to different cities, especially alone, you miss that. So in researching, I found that there are about 3 to 4 things that really solidify, or things that have to be true for you to form these bonds with different people. And this is the lens that I'm going to kind of talk and give you guys the tips. So first is having clarity on who you are and what you value. So in researching, I found that one of the things were being vulnerable and having that reciprocity. Makes sense. You don't want to have a one-sided relationship in any form of relationship, whether it's platonic or romantic, and so that makes sense. But you can only have that when you're true to yourself, you're authentic, and you know what your values are. So my call and my tip here is that you want to make sure that you're being yourself, you're clear on what you want, who you are, and what you stand for, and what your values are, because the last thing you want to do is connect with someone that's only connecting with you because of the idea of you rather than who you are at your core. So next up, we have shared experiences and shared interests. And having done the work, you know your values, you know who you are and what you stand for and the things that you're interested in, this is where you're gonna put yourself out there continuously. So going to different events, trying out new hobbies, things that you actually enjoy doing, even if it means going alone. And this is where you're gonna find with the people who are meant to be your people, because they're doing things that you would do regardless. So for example, I really got into CrossFit moving out here. It's something that I always wanted to try, having tried it once, and joined a CrossFit gym and have been going ever since. And then I've met people who also like CrossFit, so that's like shared interest, and from that we're able to build a friendship. So putting yourself out there in spaces where people have more things in common with you, chef's kiss. Point 3, quality time and repeated interaction. So let me just pull up the research and the stats right quick. A key finding is that deep friendships typically require a significant amount of time together. Studies have suggested that it can take about 50 hours of time spent together to form a casual friendship and 90 hours to transition to a good friendship, and over 200 hours to develop a close friendship, guys. So I think a lot of the time I feel like we gloss over the fact that a lot of the friends we've had are built over time and through interactions where we're in the same place, probably at the same time. It was something that we couldn't really get out of, like school or, for example, work, where if you're trying to build that type and level of connection, otherwise it's going to take a level of investment, call it what it is, time investment and energy investment to get that level of friendship that I think we're seeking. So I think recognizing that too is another thing that we have to do. Things that I think has really helped just in reflecting over the past couple of months here is either setting a goal or setting up a routine with a friend to develop a deeper friendship. So for example, one of my friends and I know we set a goal to run. We don't know if we're running a 10K or a half marathon or even a marathon, but us setting that goal enables us to, hopefully guys, commit to a plan, because we have to get our miles in. So it's something that we can do together, we can achieve together, and we are committing to showing up to get our miles in together at a set point every single week. So I'm gonna have to be seeing them X times a week. Sign up for this race, don't want my money to waste, so best believe we're gonna be seeing each other. Things like that, where you have to consistently see each other, but then also you guys are bonding over a shared interest. Another thing I want to mention is that we really need to realize that things do take time, and some of our friendships that we've had and our relationships that we have built thus far have been created over years, over hours of time invested, emotional energy invested. So when you're talking about, oh, I want to make new friends in this city, do you really want to invest that time? And if you do, then put yourself out there to be vulnerable, have shared experience, to have that reciprocity, doing new things, and be prepared to do that consistently if it's something that you really want to do. And an extra tip here is that events are my jam. One of my friends is like Facebook guru. She loves a good Facebook group. He works those things really well. So just find what form of media works for you, even if it's just like networking in real life, using Eventbrite and Groupon and Meetup and social media to your advantage to get offline and meet in real life and put your reps in. I think there's a collective shift where people are realizing community is super important and no man is an island, and I'm happy to see that people are now just investing time in pursuing friendships as much as they do romantic relationships as well. So you're eager to hear your thoughts in the comments, especially if you live in Seattle. Hope I did this video justice, and let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, check out the rest of my Seattle content here, and I will see you in my next video. Until then, with love from Chels. Bye.